So in the last video, we saw that the principles and parameters approach adopted these two assumptions when it comes to explaining case assignment phenomena. First, that DPs do not come with case, and second, that case is assigned derivationally. In MP, on the other hand, we ask, well, what happens if we assume instead that DPs do come with a case feature, and that case is not assigned, but is rather checked derivationally? So what happens? Well, empirically, the two proposals are indistinguishable. There's no difference between an approach that relies on these assumptions, the PNP assumptions, and an approach that relies on the MP assumptions. The difference, however, is in the fact that in MP, if we adopt these two assumptions, we no longer have to suppose that there's a level of S structure. And why is this advantageous? Well, it's advantageous first just because of Occam's razor, namely the simplest explanation is most likely the best one. If we can do away with a theoretical level, or if we can explain a set of phenomena by a simpler theory, we should. That's the first reason. But it's also useful for the sake of theoretical integration. So recall what we've said about WH, change colors here, WH feature checking. Feature checking. So remember that we said that there's this plus WH feature on C, and there's also a plus WH feature on DP like who, so DP who, and that these features are uninterpretable. So uninterpretable. And that in order for these uninterpretable features to be deleted, we have to assume a particular structural configuration, namely the specifier head configuration. So what did that look like? Well, let's draw it out quickly. So we have our CP going down to our C bar, and then our C, which has this uninterpretable plus WH feature, and then a bunch of other structure here. And finally, going down to our V, DP, which also has this uninterpretable plus WH feature, and that these must be eliminated for the LF representation, or rather the CI representation, to be interpretable. That is, the DP has to move to the specifier of CP in order for these two WH features to be checked and consequently deleted. Now, notice that by adopting these two assumptions, we get this structural isomorphism between WH feature checking and case feature checking. Actually, let's do this in blue. Case feature checking. Feature checking. So what have we seen about case feature checking on the MP assumptions? Well, first, there is a plus NOM feature on T, and second, there's a plus NOM feature on a DP. And that in order for these two features to enter a checking relationship, the determiner phrase must move to the specifier of TP. So we have our tense phrase here going down to our T bar, finally down to a T, some structure, and now V, DP plus NOM, and T is also plus NOM. And in order for these features to enter a checking relationship, the determiner phrase must move to the specifier of TP. And the kind of integrative simplification that ensues results from the fact that these nominative features are just like these WH features, and that they too are uninterpretable. So the theory goes, uninterpretable. So the idea is these uninterpretable features, and particularly their elimination by this specifier head configuration, by movement of the determiner phrase in each case to the specifier position, in the case of WH movement to the specifier of CP, and in the case of case feature checking to the specifier of TP, both of these movements are driven by the same sort of phenomenon. It's this elimination of uninterpretable features.